Welcome to a new episode of the Focus Bee Show. I am very excited to be here today and to share with you something that I think could be an absolute game changer. Essentially, is how you can get anything you want. And this can be both in terms of financial success, but also maybe find the relationship that you need or anything that you would like to achieve in your life. Let's get cracking with the 5 key steps to get anything you want. The very first step is clarity. The reason why clarity is so important is because until your goal or your outcome is clear in your mind, you won't be able to plan for it. You won't be able to develop the right mindset because you won't have anything tangible to go towards. This might sound obvious, yet if your goal is something like be happier, that's not measurable, that's not specific enough, and it's not really clear enough. The more you can make it clear for yourself what happiness means for you, if it's that more mental space, if it's feeling calmer, how do you define this, the easier it will be for you, A, to plan and to get there, and B, to know when you've actually reached your outcome. For things like being confident, it's a similar type of situation. Clarity, so important. I want to emphasize this once more because I know that this is actually where 90% of people fail, because the more clear it is, the easier all the other steps are. And the biggest mistake of all is to start to aim towards something and realize halfway along the journey that this isn't what you wanted at all. If you're really clear, it's less likely to happen. The second step is purpose. Having very strong emotional, purpose-driven reasons why you want to achieve this goal and outcome. I bet you anything that if I go on the street now and ask people if they want to have twice the amount of money or be millionaires, most people would say, yeah, sounds good. But what's their purpose? What's the reason? Now, if it's just status or it sounds nice or they could buy a better car, those aren't reasons that are likely to drive them enough. If it's because they are strongly pulled towards helping orphans in this country that they went to years ago and they want to help them and build a school or whatever it is, then they are more likely to pull through and to get those funds because they have something driving them. And it doesn't have to be orphans, it can be the planet, it can be better society, it can be an exciting project, whatever it is, but the purpose needs to be extremely strong so that then you put in all that hard work. Already just clarity and purpose probably is enough to achieve anything you want. You're probably thinking, no, you need to do something about it. Yes, but if you're really clear and if your purpose is super strong, this will make you do something about it. But we'll go into the other steps all the same. But these two are really, really important. Without this clarity, without this purpose-driven mindset, you can't achieve anything. Let's look at it that way. The third step is commitment. Because once you're clear on what it is you want, and once you've got real, essential, tangible reasons why you want to achieve this, then you need to commit to it. What happens is a lot of the time people wait for the right moment, the right amount of money, the right situation to make that decision. They'll think, once I have achieved X, Y, Z, then I will commit to my own personal growth or starting my own business or finding a relationship or traveling the world, whatever it is. It's only once then I'll do it, sort of as a reward. The issue is a lot of the time that doesn't actually happen. The money is never enough. The time is never quite right. So there's no once, then I'll do it. You just have to commit first. And making that commitment, taking that decision is really the pivot where your thoughts and your actions will start to change. But nothing will happen until you've made a clear-cut decision. This is like an inner promise to yourself, and then you can also share it to the world. This is why so many people post on social media their ambitions or their goals, such as writing a book, because they've committed it to themselves, and so they're then opening that to the world. Commitment, making that decision. Bob Proctor talks about this in one of his YouTube videos that's fantastic, on the power of decision and the power of commitment. The fourth step is focus. As the focus bee, I think it's essential to have a really tangible focus, really clear focus. And by this, I don't just mean the outcomes or the objectives that was already decided ahead of time in the clarity aspect. I mean, focusing all of your thoughts and your energy and your attention in that direction. Once you've decided you want to take that leap and perhaps start your own business, for example, then thinking about it actively, visualizing what would it look like, how does it make you feel, generating those emotions and placing your energy and attention in that direction, there's literally no way it can fail because all of your thoughts revolve around it. And after a while, that leads to the fifth step, which is action. So once you're really clear, once you have an absolute tangible purpose and reasons for doing this, and you've committed to doing it, and you've placed all of your focus and attention onto it, then you can take action. Then it's the moment where you actually put together a plan and strategy and organize and talk to the right people. But do you see that by doing the first 4 steps, you have put in place all the pillars to make the 5th step easy? Because if you begin immediately by taking action without being totally clear on what it is you want or why it is you want it, and without having fully committed to yourself, only thought that would be nice, the actions aren't as strong. You might put a plan together, a strategy, you might follow through a few weeks, a few months, even a year. And then when it gets tough, when the mindset starts to relapse, when you're not sure why you're doing it, that action plan isn't enough. So coming back to these first 4 pillars in order: clarity, so essential, the purpose, start with the why, the commitment, and I don't mean flaky commitment, I mean marriage-like commitment. You marry that goal. You want to get that thing in life, you have to marry it. Pure commitment. And then the focus. And if you combine all these 4, what will happen is the action plan will take care of itself, because your focus, your thoughts, your energy, your emotions will all guide you to put together the perfect plan. You'll be thinking about it one night before falling asleep, and an idea will come to you, and you'll put together this strategy to make it happen. If you don't have those steps beforehand, your action plan won't be as strong and as efficient. So these are the 4 steps, the 5 steps to get anything you want in your life and in your business. As an example, I'd like to share with you when I did my triathlon in Barcelona several years ago. And I never considered myself a very sportive person. This is before I got into personal development and self-improvement. And it was a huge challenge for me when I first had this idea. I was walking through the park in London one day and I saw a man with a t-shirt on with triathlon, and I liked the idea. I just thought, this sounds more fun. It sounds more exciting than a marathon. And I had no idea how I could ever do a triathlon. The way I did it, I didn't realize at the time, but I went through these exact steps. I was super clear. I knew the date. I knew which type of triathlon I wanted to do. I didn't go straight away for the Olympic one, though I'm sure I could have if I'd worked on these 5 steps even more in depth. I was clear. I also had a really clear and tangible purpose. And this was because at the time, this was years and years ago, I was actually studying coaching, and I was really in love with the whole goal processing And so my purpose was to prove to myself I can achieve any goal I set to myself using this goal framework, which is similar to these 5 steps. So that was my purpose, to prove to myself I could do it and to be healthier. And I valued health tremendously. So I was clear, I had a purpose, and I committed. I sat down one day, I decided then and there, I wrote it in all my coaching notebooks, I hired a coach to work with me, and I hired a fitness coach, which are already in the action part. And that took place because my purpose was so high and the commitment was there. And obviously the focus, I thought about it a lot. I had struggled a bit with the focus towards the end because this was almost a year preparation. And I have a lot of energy to start things, but then sometimes my focus can diminish. So this is where it really helped me to have both a fitness trainer, but also a coach to regain that sort of extra boost of motivation. But really the action plan, yes, it was, going for the swimming, the running, the cycling, but that wasn't that hard once I was clear and driven and motivated and focused. And this is just one example. And when I did it, I was thrilled. And then I continued to exercise. And really, actually, in retrospect, the reason why the triathlon was such a great part of my life is it really led me to begin taking exercise seriously and implementing it in my life. And that was worth so much more than just achieving a goal. I didn't realize it at the time, but that was really the highlight in hindsight. This is just one example, and I've applied this framework to get pretty much anything I want in my life by having really strong 5 pillars. It's not just being a bit clear, it's not being a bit committed. It's the stronger all of these are, the more likely you are to achieve it. And of course, when you do that commitment aspect, that's when you need to check, do you have the right mindset? What are your beliefs about yourself and the situation? Do you think it's possible? Because if your commitment is flaky, if you put it on paper but you don't really believe it, that's not really a commitment. The commitment comes with the belief. I really think these 5 steps work. I'm really curious to know if you would add any in particular. I know each and every one has to be applied to your specific situation or goal, but if you do implement these 5 essential steps, I guarantee that it will at least take you a lot further. Maybe not to the end destination if one of those pillars is flaky, but it'll move you forward, you'll gain momentum, and maybe you'll achieve something else that's fantastic that you hadn't anticipated. I hope these have been useful for you. Please leave comment or review, something telling me. You can also reach out to me on LinkedIn to say how you are implementing this, how it's working for you. Thank you so much for listening today. Thank you. Bye.